I'm already mic'd up, so I figured I'd do another business vlog. I've done 2 so far, so this is number 3. I am coming to the conclusion I haven't done enough advertising. I've done a lot of posts as of late, and the reason that I've done so many instructional ones, how to for an exercise or how to do a certain stretch, whatever it is that these are all correlated to CoachRx, which is the software that I use for my clients when they sign up for one of my real world ready, either muscle building program or longevity program. There was a time not too long ago where I thought I was going to do an at home, thinking like, oh, that might get more people in. But thanks to conversations with my lovely wife, I realized that it's more than likely I'm not getting as many sales as I would like because I'm not advertising. I'm just putting stuff out there and hoping people will come and buy stuff for me. And while that has its place to build an audience, it is going to be few and far between from people who will just come in and buy those. So it was pretty funny. I was talking to my wife and I was like, yeah, how do I get more people to sign up? I haven't had anyone sign up for a little bit. And she was like, well, have you done any advertising lately? And I was like, no. There you go, Tom. Do some advertising. So these instructional videos that I make, they do very well on YouTube, which makes sense for that platform. I've talked about this in a past video. And they do all right on TikTok or Instagram. The Arnold Press one did really well for whatever reason, probably because it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger's name in the description, something to keep in mind. And one of the things I toyed around with today, earlier this weekend today, was instead of just jumping right into how to do the exercise, take a sentence to describe what it is that the exercise is actually good for. So I did this by accident on a couple of my last ones, like the Spider-Man stretch and Open the Book. Both of those did better than the other ones that I've been making. I took I took one sentence to say, this Open the Book stretch is very good for those with a tight mid-back, also known as your thoracic spine. So if you have a tight mid-back, do these. Spider-Man was, if you got tight hips, this is a good one for tight hips. So when people are scrolling through, more than likely, the first thing, well, not more than likely, the first thing they'll hear when they get onto my post is, if you have a tight back, and they'll be thinking, slouched over at their phone, oh yeah, I got a tight back. Because you're freaking slouched, man. I do it too. I'm not holier than thou. I'm sit at a desk most of the day like this. Anyway, so that one sentence I think has helped. And then one of the things I did with the Spider-Man stretch today was, instead of just saying Spider-Man stretch, I did Spider-Man stretch, and then in smaller text I wrote good for tight hips or loosen up your hips, something like that. So as people are going around their various platforms, that might stick out a little bit more. And in the 8 hours since I've posted it, so far that seems to be the case. It's hard to differentiate because every now and then a video just kind of pops off. Like this front plank reach out one is the best one that I've got going on TikTok. And I still can't figure out why that one is doing so much better than like reach throughs or feet elevated. But for whatever reason it is, I'm not gonna, I'll take it. So those have been pretty quick to churn out. I've got a good methodology for it now. I can only do about 10 at a time. It's early September here right now, so it's still pretty hot in the Raleigh area. So I can do about 10 before I'm drenched in sweat and probably look like a doofus on camera. Just, who's this guy who's so damn sweaty trying to teach me how to do an exercise? So I cap at about 10. And for this advertisement that I just filmed, I still got to upload, edit it, and post it. There's a few things that I'm doing differently. When I do a more, I guess, organized video, when I'm trying to teach a certain topic, like bullshit when it comes to fat loss or anything like that, ones that are a little bit more in depth and not just an instructional video, I will do, I'll try to just recite one sentence at a time. That way it's clear. I can, short-term memory can hold that. For this advertisement, and I'll record that 3 times. So I'll get up there and I'll be like, this is the bull crap when it comes to weight loss, or this is the bull crap when it comes to weight loss, right? So I have 3 takes essentially in one go, and then I'm able to take the best of those 3 takes. For this advertisement one though, I put more emphasis on quality. For example, instead of just shooting in video mode, I put it on cinematic mode. So it should have a blurry-ish background to me here. I initially intended to do this in my garage, but I figured this advertisement video is going to take longer to record. So by the time I'm done recording, I'm going to get progressively sweatier. Even though I'm not doing any exercise, I'll get progressively sweatier in my garage that's probably 90 degrees right now. I'm still wrestling with whether that was the right idea or not. I think it was. That has the backdrop of my home gym, so I think it would lend credence to sort of the authority I'm trying to build on as a fitness coach. But this is a cool background too. My wife does a hell of a job interior designing, and maybe it's a little bit of a pattern interrupt for people who are used to seeing my face and seeing my home gym, and now they're seeing my face in this background, and it might be just intriguing enough that they stick around for the whole video or even just a little bit longer. But what I did for this advertising video that was different from the other ones was I was doing 6, 7, 8, 9 takes of a given line. And I was trying to tie two lines together. There was a lot of times where I stumbled that over. So instead of just reading one sentence, I was shooting for 2 or 3 sentences. And yeah, plenty of times I stumbled over, which is part of what made me need to take 7, 8, 9, 10 takes, whatever it was. And I think it's going to lead to a better product. I mean, that will be decided, but I was coming in and I was actually opening up my phone on the tripod like it is right now and trying to figure out the right height for it so the camera sort of matches my eye line and my body's the bottom 2/3 and that leaves a third up here. And I don't know, maybe captions, maybe not captions, but it will potentially leave enough for that. We'll see when I edit it. But I was playing around and trying to make sure I had the good lighting, right? So at first I didn't have this light on. There's another light over there. I didn't have that one on. So I played around with it. I turned on my camera, started recording, sat down, said a few things, got up, looked at my camera, watched that video, and then, basically like a scientific experiment, I then stopped, came in, turned this one on, saw what the lighting was like, stopped recording, turned on the recording, turned on that light, etc. So I could play around with the different things to see if it was which one would be better. So ultimately I decided these 2 lights would be better. And I had the shades up at first, but I pulled them down so there wasn't any sort of maybe person walking in the background or bird flying by that would be distracting. Plus I think the light might have washed out my face a little bit there. So I normally would have taken maybe 20 minutes to record this video of this length. It'll probably end up being about 1.5 minutes if I had to guess right now. But I probably took 45 minutes to record just with how many takes I went. And then I was trying to basically analyze what I was saying in real time. So if I said something, this one is about, talking crap about 6-week challenges and 75 hard, because I think they're bull crap. They don't build sustainable changes in people for the long term. And that's what I'm trying to help people with, is health and fitness for the rest of their life, not just the next 6 months. I'll help them for 6 months, don't get me wrong, but I want to help them for a lot longer than that. Little diatribe there, soapbox. So I was really trying to make sure I was doing things like I was leaning into the camera when I was trying to really emphasize a point, and then when I saw what the next line was and sort of putting it out or scoping it out there, I'd be like, all right, so I'll say the next line while I'm still up here and then come back. I'm optimistic right now. I don't think it'll be amazing, but I do think it'll be a step up in the quality of the content that I've put out so far. And given I'm going to be putting money behind this one on the social media platforms, I want to make sure I put my best foot forward. So I'll get it through, I'll edit it, I'll learn something I messed up on, and then try better for the next time. Now, I've done a few ads before. I've only put like $50 behind them and had them run for a week. And all they really did was drove some tire kicking traffic to my website, which I'll take, don't get me wrong, but I'd like more than that. So I'd like to present a metaphorical better face. Obviously I'm stuck with this one, but if I could really clean things up and make it look nicer, hopefully that builds a little bit more trust in my audience. Theoretically it does. And then what I'm also going to do is have this ad run for longer, because I've spent some time in sales, and it's so funny. I've spent time in corporate sales, and you hear all of these things and it becomes sort of second nature. And then you go out on your own trying to do your own thing, and all those lessons that you learned, you sort of have to relearn when you're doing them yourself. They're there, but sometimes it takes, a morning of journaling or a conversation with your wife or reading a book and seeing something, and all of a sudden it sparks like, oh, I already knew that freaking lesson, but it's a whole nother thing when you've got to implement it in, instead of a B2B corporate job, it's me selling to, um, your average Joe and Jane. I've also been doing a lot of work on really drilling down and focusing in on what is the audience that I'm going after. I think I've been casting too broad of a net, and I'm now to the point where I have so my audience is people age 30 to 50 who want to work out, but walk out of the gym feeling good and have the long term in mind. They have all right, I want to be fit now. I'm willing for it to take a few months for me to get there, but I also want to build a fitness habit that's going to stick with me for the next 3, 4, 5 decades. Ideally with me, but if they go with someone else, that's fine too. And what I was doing before was going a little too broad. And now that I'm saying this all out loud, I wonder if I should have maybe niched down a little bit more on that ad that I just made, but time will tell. That's another point for me to learn from. This whole entrepreneurial experience has been very enlightening. There's been a number of times throughout my life where I've tried to start a business and nothing really stuck. And it was, it's that whole passion paradigm of do what you love and the money will come. And I tried doing that earlier in life when I was an assistant general manager at a Choose Fitness in California. That was cool, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to actually be training people, not just around people who were training. I went and became a CrossFit coach, and I had a lot of fun with that. But I was young. I was 23, 24, and I didn't have any sort of business acumen at the time. I don't think I would have had enough faith to try and go and make something like this happen in myself at age 24 that I do now. And I was talking about my audience. So I'm trying to narrow that scope down to find folks who have that same mentality of long-term fitness. And as important as building muscle and strength is, fitness is more than that. Flexibility and mobility. It seems like once you hit 30, a light switch flips and all of a sudden you sleep on your pillow the wrong way or whatever it is. People make jokes about this online all the time, and and your body just doesn't recuperate, right? You got a kink in your neck because you turn to check your blind spot a little too fast. So I put an emphasis on flexibility and mobility training as well. I don't talk about that as much as I should, though. I think that's another part. See, this is part of what these vlogs do for me. If nothing else, it's a way for me to sit and think as I talk through what I'm doing. Talk a little bit more about flexibility and mobility. Okay, I think I will. In my longevity program, half of it is mobility and flexibility. Half of it, when I mean, if you have an hour-long session, which all of mine are designed to be an hour, ideally, and you take the first 30 minutes to stretch, and you're stretching different things. You're stretching your quads, your thoracic spine, your neck, your side, all of those stuff. And then the other 30 minutes are spent lifting weights, or the other 30 minutes are spent doing a quick, like 6 sets of weights, and then doing high-intensity interval training. And that's not something I've talked about much. I'll put that in the description of this advertisement when I make it. Maybe change the copy on my website as well. This is helpful. Just as a side note, I'm making these business vlogs. This is a new thing within the last week because of something Gary Vee said. He's like, if you can go and read, I don't know if this is the exact example, but you can go and read, who's the Virgin guy? Richard Branson? Richard Branson's biography, autobiographies, whatever they are, and you can get a good idea of how he built his business, or at least stages. But Gary, he's like, how great would it be if you could go back and look at all of these vlogs that he made, and you can follow him along in the process and understand the trials and tribulations that he's gone through in order to build his business. He can recall them through a nostalgic lens now, Richard, or Gary for that matter. But when you have it documented in this respect, it's a totally different ballgame. So when someone is 5 years from now, 10 years from now, trying to do the same thing I'm doing, I can point them towards my vlogs and they can go through and understand how hard this is to do, how hard it is to go into business for yourself and start something from nothing and go. Those other businesses I've tried to build in the past, they were token efforts. I'll be honest about that. They were good ideas, but I didn't care. I just wanted to make money from them. There was no pleasure in the work. And that's why I stopped after a day or a week or a month. It's because I didn't like the process. I didn't like the journey of it. And the more I do this, the more I feel good about doing this. I I feel like even if I wasn't being paid, or was looking to even build a business off of this, if I was just trying to make videos for social media, I actually really enjoy it. It's fun to teach people. It's fun to interact with people in the comments, and sometimes light bulbs go off, and you can't see it, but you can see their thoughts in the comments, and helping people get improve themselves. It's phenomenal. It reminds me of something. It's only kind of related. When I was a CrossFit coach, when I was starting out, I was a big CrossFit hardo. I loved it. I breathed it. My blood ran CrossFit sort of thing. And I thought I wanted to coach athletes that would go to the CrossFit Games because I looked up to the Games athletes. I mean, they are cool. They're awesome. They're super strong. They've got incredible endurance, all of that. But as I started coaching people in CrossFit, I realized I get so much more pleasure out of something like someone who's lost a bunch of weight and now has the confidence to try a 6-inch box jump and they get it. God, man, that lights me up. I got goosebumps right now. You can't make this shit up. Just thinking about it. The amount of joy that person has is the same amount of joy I get from coaching people like that. If someone wants to be a bodybuilder, if someone wants to try to go pro in the NFL, fuck yeah, get after it. I'm not the right coach for them. I want to coach the moms and dads of the world, or the grandma and the grandpas, or the busy professionals who just want to feel better and look better. They're not necessarily training for something, but they have enough fitness where if their friend called them and they said, hey, let's do a 4-day backpacking trip through Appalachia, they can do it. There's no physical limitation from them. And they're not like I've been, keeled over in back pain every other day because they keep throwing out their back. That's no way to live a life. So getting people out of pain, getting them the wins, like dropping weight, getting a 6-inch box jump, they're small on the surface, but the implications of those wins over time, it's huge. It's massive. In the short term and the long term for that matter. More goosebumps. This is why I like fitness, there's so much that life has to offer, and I'm just as guilty as other people are of squandering good opportunities, spending another Sunday afternoon watching football on the couch. Though the Pats do pump me up. I'm from Boston originally, so love the Pats. But regardless, there's plenty of times where I'm a couch potato. There's plenty of times where it's a nice day outside and I'm sitting inside picking belly button lint when I could be out going for a walk or kayaking or something like that. But there are plenty of people who don't have the physical ability to do that. And it's because they haven't found the right coach for them. They haven't found the right methodology for them. And that's the void I look to fill, is giving people the right amount of fitness to go kayaking on a Sunday afternoon with their friends, or when they're 80 or when they're 90, they're still chasing their grandkids around the backyard, or maybe even great grandkids around the backyard. Independent living, when you're a senior citizen, or just a senior citizen, that's one of those things I'm really looking to help people with. My old man's about 65 right now, somewhere in that range. And he's been having a lot of hip problems. So I've been helping him out. He's been going to physical therapy and he's been going to see a doctor. He got a nerve block. And I'm not going to sit here and claim I can fix all the pain in the world through fitness, because sometimes you need a nerve block. I've had injections in my spine, and they gave me the opportunity to go backpacking with my now wife, then girlfriend, for 3 days. And that was an awesome trip. Another diatribe. But fitness is the vehicle to letting elderly people continue to live independently. And it's hard when you're 30. It's hard when you're 20. And what am I, 32? It's got to be hard when you're 40 as well to imagine that the fitness habits and the strength and mobility that you're building now is going to pay tenfold dividends when you're 70, when you're 80. But it's so critical. And that's one of my biggest motivators. I've seen people not be able to attain that level of fitness, and they're stuck they're stuck on a walker, or they're stuck with something of the sort, and assisted living is already something that they've entered into, or that they're going into soon. And that's what I also want to help people avoid. I can paint these broad strokes pictures. I'm trying to break this down to help people see the vision of what I'm getting at. And this is part of how you do it. You vlog like this, you journal, you talk with ChatGPT, just voice agent, and just think things out loud or say things out loud. And as you go, you just start realizing some of the stuff. I do a lot of jam sessions with ChatGPT, trying to get my thoughts squared away. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. More often than not, it's helpful. Anyway, I've been going on for a while now, so I'll wrap this one up. I've got the new advertisement coming out by the end of the weekend. I've started setting goals for myself again. My goal by the end of September 2025, that's the year we're in, is to have 5 new clients sign up with me. Another thing I've been regretting or neglecting that journaling had helped me remember is to set goals and write them down, and then write sort of sub goals. So by September 1st, 2026, I want to have 100 new clients signed up. And to get there, I need to get 5 new clients by the end of this September. So let's do it.